Is it just me, or are yield signs just one of the scariest things you could see on a day-to-day basis? And it's not because I can't drive. I promise I can. But because of those videos you see, you know, where people just like get into car accidents. Yeah. But I understand why there are so many of these videos. I mean, when a yield sign is put up, the state transportation department is essentially allowing anyone from like age 16 to 100 to use their discrepancy on whether or not to slow down when turning into oncoming traffic. And this wouldn't be a problem if people could just obey the rules of the road, but you know just as well as I do that that's an absolute pipe dream. And it's gotten to a point where I've considered various types of alternative transportation. But let's be honest, aside from the time you saw one on your permit test and you had your instructor yell at you, how often do you even pay attention to these funny little triangles on the side of the road? Well, I mean, I'd hope every time you see one, but I mean where they came from and why there are like 5 different variations of them. And to answer that question, we have to talk about Clinton Riggs was a police officer born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which, according to Google, is famous for about 4 things: oil rigs, agriculture, football, and hurricanes. Now, this Riggs character was not a dumb guy. In fact, I'd probably argue the opposite. Despite being known for being a police officer, he also graduated University of Tulsa, where he went to go teach later in his life, with a law degree. He also was an Air Force pilot in World War II, but I guarantee you he was thinking about traffic signs the entire time he was out there. And think about traffic signs he did, because as soon as he came back stateside, he wasted no time in his development of what many would call his magnum opus. And in 1950, despite all odds, the first yield sign was born. Despite the city of Tulsa basically saying, "Don't put these signs you just made up on one of our busiest intersections," Riggs and his assistant, Paul Rice, said, "Screw you, we're doing it anyway." So I guess you don't have to do what the government says sometimes? Anyway, Riggs died 47 years later in 1997, leaving behind a legacy that would forever fuse drivers under the age of 25. And some say, if you listen really closely in those rolling Oklahoma hills where he's buried, you could hear him laughing at Deadly Car Crash Compilations number 37 on YouTube.